Let's talk to Jonathan Stanley, who's been working very closely with the family. He is the health spokesperson for the conservative think tank Bow Group and has been with them in the meetings with the doctors as well. So, Jonathan, first of all, just to get us right up to date where we are, the life support was turned off this week. Alfie lives, he's soldiering on, but the decision to take him to Italy is still being denied. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
And on what grounds?
Well, the judgment was that it wasn't in his best interest as determined by the hospital, by the lawyers and by a state-appointed guardian. And the argument was that he couldn't be transported to Italy because it might be bad for his health, it might kill him, which seems very odd considering that the plan is for him to die in hospital here.
But what is he hoping to get in Italy that he can't get in hospital here? What's the difference?
The difference is an objective second opinion that's done independently, that's outside the UK and its political culture and its clinical culture. Remember, we've been through many cycles of appeals now, and the reality is it's very difficult for doctors and judges to want to back down or reverse a decision when the process has been going on for so long. Remember, despite the idea that the medical opinion is unanimous, the only centre that has given evidence in court before a judge is Alder Hey.
That is true, but they are qualified, aren't they? They're experts. They know a lot more than you and I would do about what condition Alfie's in.
That's right, and so the second opinion would have to come from a tertiary centre of international renown on equal footing to Alder Hey, which is why Bambino Gesù in Rome has continued to make an offer to transfer that child to Italy, exactly for that reason.
Why can't that happen in the UK? I mean, we've got other centres of excellence.
As I said, so it's outside the political culture and the clinical culture of the UK. We've already been through many cycles of appeals in this country. So
is this about pro-life? If you take him to Italy, you're hoping for a culture that's more pro-life?
Well, no, I mean, first of all, every doctor is pro-life in the sense that we want the very best for our patients. But no, that's not what's been argued here at all. Another offer was made in Germany, for example, where the pro-life position, if you like, is not as strong as it is in Italy.
This is
that's not what's been argued for, no.
This is a heartbreaking case for sure. The other thing that people are saying is that even if Alfie lives, what's his quality of life going to be?
Well, that's really to be determined by another set of doctors with his parents. It's not for people to decide that he's going to have an excellent quality of life. That's not what is in discussion here. What's in discussion here is whether or not he's allowed to go abroad for treatment to extend his life and to give him quality as well. And as I keep saying, that the whole point is that you want an expert opinion in an independent centre of excellence to give you this kind of viewpoint, not any person that's not medically qualified. And remember, judges aren't medically qualified.
Jonathan, you've been in meetings with the parents, with the family. How are they at the moment? How are they bearing up?
Well, they're bearing up because they are both very strong people, and they've been through this now for well over a year. So in some senses, they're battle-hardened. When I was in the meeting with Tom, he handled it incredibly well, but it has definitely taken its toll on both of the parents, and I can't imagine how anyone would think it would be otherwise. They're both extremely angry with the hospital, and more than that, for a long time, they have completely lost trust in the hospital, and that is the very good reason to seek a second opinion, because that trust that the hospital should be maintaining has gone, and it's gone for a while.
But we've got problems, haven't we, with Alfie's army, with the supporters and protesting outside the hospital. This is just inflaming. It's not helping, is it?
Well, who is it inflaming?
The whole situation.
Who's it upsetting?
The
Well,
hospital.
It's not inflaming the situation. The hospital doesn't like being criticised. The hospital is taking offence by the fact that people have now taken an interest, including politicians that represent the family.
We're hearing this morning that and I'm going to quote you this. You can tell me if this is your experience, but medical staff have endured a, quote, barrage of abuse.
But if that's verbal abuse, my honest answer is, and I'm sorry to say this, but but suck it up. It's not pleasant, but the truth is this: we're in a democracy. We've written to a Secretary of State for Health, Jeremy Hunt, twice. He hasn't responded. We wrote to the Chief Executive of the hospital for a meeting. We didn't get a response. We wrote to the Prime Minister. We didn't get a response. So people shout when they're not listened to. It's all very well saying that people should talk and not shout, but people have done that, and they haven't been listened to. They've been stonewalled.
Aren't
So
they going to
it's
be
not
less likely
pleasant.
to change their mind if people are unpleasant to them?
Only if they're not objective, and we've argued that objectivity has been lost, which is why we should have an opinion elsewhere.
The
If they're
Pope's
professional objective, they should not dig in. They should not adopt a bunker mentality. That's a sign that they've actually lost control professionally. That's all that is a sign of.
the Pope's got involved in this case as well. Do you think that's a help or actually a hindrance?
Why would it be a hindrance? There's no reason why.
So you think it's
Of
helping the
course.
case?
Well, he's raised the profile on it, and he's raised humanitarian and moral concerns, and I think it's good that that's happened. Crying
I
shame that
ask
no
you.
one in our own government has.
I ask you because a lot of people are saying, well, look, it's got nothing to do with the Pope. This should be, again, everyone's taking it right back to those medical experts and saying that it should be their decision and not the parents.
Well, I'll give you a quote from Harold Macmillan. We did not defeat the tyranny of the Nazis to bow down to the tyranny of experts. We accept their opinions. What we want is another opinion so that there's some objectivity and some balance. That's all that is being asked for. I don't think there's anything particularly controversial about that.
And on your Twitter feed, you have said the state has no business interfering with the parents' care of their child, and you've called it chilling. Can you tell me why exactly you've used the word chilling?
Because the assumption is that parents have responsibility for their children as long as that is convenient to the court, at which point the court will decide what is in the best interest of the child. And that is chilling, because we can't hold the courts to account democratically. We can't do that. There is no oversight in that sense.
Okay. Do you think
there's a difference between proving that the parents have been nefarious or have been neglectful, and simply that they don't really understand what's going on and they're not experts. I think there's a difference there, a little bit of snobbery as well.
Do you think it should always be the parents' decision then, rather than the courts in situations like this? I mean, obviously we had another very high-profile case. We had Charlie Gard recently, didn't we, when these kind of questions were raised?
What we've argued for is that there should be an independent advocate. So when these cases approach court, the parent should have access to the same quality of lawyers and medical opinions as a hospital that has essentially unlimited access to its own NHS funds to pay for the best lawyers in the land. That's what really is needed, and that way a decision can be reached where both sides have what we would call equality of arms.
And
so this should not happen.
Just very quickly, Jonathan, what's the next stage for you and the family?
Well, we're constantly in contact with the family, and we will support them as we can. But this has always been led by the family, and it's us supporting them.
Okay.
Whatever kind of wider issues are there, that the prime concern is the family as a unit.
Jonathan, thank you, and please keep in touch with us here at BBC Radio Kent. We'd love to speak to you as this case continues.